Like many of you, I find myself in the heartbreaking position of not being able to see loved ones over the Christmas period. This is a difficult thing to accept as an adult, as I reflect on it being the first Christmas in my life where I won't see my family. However, it is perhaps an even greater challenge for our children, who will struggle to hold in mind the logic and reason behind this being a necessary course of action in order to keep us all safe, and may instead be overcome by the emotions and loss this brings. If you are a parent of a child and, on top of everything else, are now faced with the task of supporting them through this COVID Christmas, I'm going to share with you some ideas that might help over the coming weeks. Welcome to today's podcast, episode 19 of Better Brain, Better You, where we're here to help you cultivate a healthy brain and build better mental well-being. Thank you for joining me from wherever you're listening. It's good to have you here. I am Dr. Zoe Webb, a clinical psychologist and specialist working with children, teenagers and parents. I'm here to share with you some of my thoughts and ideas on ways in which you can support your child or teenager through this COVID Christmas. Before we get started, I just wanted to let you know that if you would like more help parenting your child or your teenager, you can access a mini course that shows you how to better connect and communicate with them across a range of challenging situations that you may encounter in this relationship. You can find out more about the course at ologyonlinecourses.com/parenting-teenagers. That's ologyonlinecourses.com/parenting-teenagers. Having thought we'd had the opportunity to celebrate with our extended family over Christmas, this weekend has brought with it the news that for so many of us, this is no longer possible. And whilst we, as adults, reconcile our hearts with our heads in respect of this being the case, we perhaps also find ourselves having to manage the fallout for our children, who, if like mine, were already so excited about seeing grandparents, cousins, aunts, uncles, etc. for the first time in months. Instead of being able to indulge in all the excitement, we are now faced with our children potentially struggling with finding ways to manage the huge loss this announcement brings with it. We may have already seen displays of great sadness from our children, or we may be noticing that they're seeming angry or defiant as they try and make sense of last-minute changes and what this means for their Christmas. As we try and get our own heads around what this all means for all of our Christmases, I'm going to share with you 10 things that will hopefully help ease the challenge of this and allow for Christmas to still be a time for happiness, fun and connection. Firstly, support your child to feel whatever emotions they are experiencing. This is a time when we need to show our children, more than ever before, that whatever they are feeling is okay and is understood. As many children will still be learning the skill of emotional regulation due to their age, the loss and sadness that comes with not seeing loved ones this Christmas will be huge, and for many hard to control. This means the sadness and frustration they're feeling inside may be expressed in ways that are not always the most appropriate on the outside. Offering your child validation of their emotions not only lets them know that it's okay to be feeling this way, but that you're there to help make the feelings more manageable. When thinking about this, often when we see our children experiencing big and difficult feelings, we want to take away those feelings and make it all better. And to do this, we often offer lots of reassuring messages that everything will be okay. However, in that moment, your child may be really struggling to believe this, and so they may experience reassurance as being a message that they're getting this wrong and should be feeling something different. Therefore, what they really need is validation. So rather than saying, "Don't be sad, everything will be okay," try saying something like, "I can see you're feeling really sad about this, and that is okay because it's a really sad thing that's happening." For your child, hearing that it's okay to be sad will allow them to experience that feeling in a safe way, as they've been given permission to feel it, and this will help it to eventually pass. Experiencing the feeling in a more regulated way will not only help in the moment, but will also help them to develop their own regulation skills as they get older. And that is because if we don't let our children feel the difficult feelings, they won't ever learn how to cope with them effectively. So validation, along with empathy for how difficult these feelings can be, allows them to do this, with you being alongside them whilst they learn, and this is the best way. Second, share with your child how you're feeling about the changes to plans, as this can again help to validate your child's feelings and give them permission to feel okay about how they are feeling. We often think as parents that we need to protect our children from our adult feelings. However, showing them that we can feel big feelings too, and sometimes we'll also struggle with how to manage them, demonstrates to them that what they are going through is expected and accepted. Third is to remember that all behaviours in our children come from somewhere. So if you are noticing that your child is behaving in ways that are perhaps different to their usual self, they may seem more grumpy or maybe more defiant, they may be quieter than usual or be struggling to sleep. This may be an indication that they're struggling with a big feeling, but may be finding it difficult to let you know by talking about it. If this is happening, try being curious with them about what might be going on for them. Perhaps share some suggestions with them. So saying something like, I wonder if you're feeling sad about not seeing people at Christmas, and that's why you're getting more cross with me. If you're able to work out what the feeling is behind the behaviour, you can then think with your child about how to support them to manage that feeling better. Fourth, think with your child about the things they have perhaps done in the past that help them when they are finding things difficult. This will be different for everyone, and you and your child may not have already tried and tested things out to use before, in which case it may be that you need to try new things out now. These could include watching a favourite film or something funny on the internet, being in nature and going for walks, baking, drawing, writing, listening to music, playing games together. And out of these ideas, activities that connect us with other people when we're feeling loss can be really helpful. This brings us on to number 5, which is that perhaps some of those activities just mentioned could be done with those you're not going to see over Christmas. This may be something shared remotely, like playing a game, or even just doing an activity together in your respective homes and talking on the phone or via video call whilst doing it. Or perhaps your child could make things to send to those that they are missing. If it's not possible to do the above, there are still ways for your child to feel connected to their loved ones in their absence. Number 6 on our list includes something tangible, like wearing a bracelet that helps them to think about that person, or having photographs of them around. Or it may be something more abstract, like your child and their loved one both drawing hearts on their hands to remind them of their love and connection. Stories, like the invisible string, can also be a really helpful way for children to know that you can feel connected even when you're not physically with someone. 7th on the list is helping your child to think beyond Christmas and the virus, to times when they will be able to reconnect with their loved ones physically. Perhaps get them to write a list of things they can do to look forward to doing when they see them again, or draw a picture of where they would like to go with them. Whilst timescales can be really tricky for children to understand, giving them a sense of getting through this and life in the future will hopefully offer them some comfort that some normality will be resumed eventually. 8th is making sure you make the most of the time you all have together over the festive period. Whilst the temptation can be to allow children to play on their new devices over the holidays, try and make sure that this is balanced with lots of positive family time with those who can be together. Not only will this allow for that really important time for connection, it may well offer a helpful distraction for the shared sadness of missing others. If possible, include in this activities that offer your child lots of positive sensory experiences, as this helps to calm the brain when feeling anxious or upset. This may be something as simple as blowing bubbles or making things with Play-Doh, messy art or rolling out dough for biscuits. It may be climbing or digging, hanging on monkey bars, pulling or pushing against things. Food can also regulate and can calm our brains, so offering your child something to suck, crunch or chew on can be really helpful when they're struggling with their feelings. For number 9, if your child, or indeed you, are really struggling this Christmas, use visualization to imagine being in a place that makes them or you feel calm, happy and relaxed. Use all of the senses, so what you can see, hear, smell, touch and taste, to create as much detail as possible about this place. It may be a real place you visited or somewhere completely made up from imagination. Your child or you may choose to be on their own in this place, or they may choose to have all of their loved ones with them. If imagining being in this place doesn't create the desired effect of happiness and calm, it's perhaps not the right place, so encourage them to think of another. And with practice, this can become a strategy that works really effectively as soon as they even just think of a word that can be associated with their happy place. It can also be a strategy that's not used just over Christmas, but whenever they experience difficult feelings. And the great thing about it is that no one else needs to know they're doing it. So it may be something they end up using in class at school, out and about, etc. And finally, make sure you make time to check in with how you're feeling about this COVID Christmas, because how you feel will determine how you respond to your child. If you need time to manage your own feelings of loss, sadness, disappointment, anger, anxiety, take that time. Unless you're feeling okay, it's going to be much harder to help your children to feel okay. So take the time to do those things that help you to regulate your feelings. Go for that walk or run. Share how you're feeling with a partner or a friend. Distract yourself. Engage in some nice self-care. Whatever you notice makes you feel better, create time and space for over these holidays. Remember, it's been an incredibly difficult year on so many levels. This time will pass, but for now, it's okay for you to not be feeling okay, as well as for your child not to be. You'll be far better equipped to help them get through the holidays if you're noticing and looking after your feelings too. So that is my list of 10 things to do to help get through this COVID Christmas with your children. Take your pick for the ones that you feel suit you and your child the best, depending on what you feel may be most helpful in your individual circumstances. Hopefully there's something there that will ease things this Christmas for you and your family. Just to remind you that if you would like more help parenting your children or teenagers, you can access a mini course that shows you how to better connect and communicate with them across a range of challenging situations that you may encounter in this relationship. You can find out more about the course at ologyonlinecourses.com/parenting-teenagers. That's ologyonlinecourses.com/parenting-teenagers. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I've loved having your company and wish you the best possible Christmas.